to go tomorrow, but so far so good. Top of the league, Wes, and a convincing victory on the South Coast at a fellow relegated side. We said it was going to be really tough. Leicester made that look really easy, actually.
Yeah. Much better performance second half. First half we talked about it, and it could have gone either way. Even though Leicester definitely, looked the better team in the first half, but the second half was much more controlled, much more, how do you put it, steady, and I think they ran away with it in the second half, and put the game to bed.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they're a lot more assured defensively. Looked a lot more solid. Yes, Southampton, you could say, played their part in that because they had to pile men forward. They were chasing the game, as we said at half time. But Leicester kept the shape a lot better in that second half. For the most part, played on the counter-attack. The better team. Leicester have been the better team in every game that they've played this season, and only once have they come unstuck. So, that's great reward for all the hard work that they've put in pre-season. And the first 5 league games leading up to this game. So, a convincing scoreline, as Matthew said. But on some of the football, at times, was excellent as well. They looked a real threat tonight.
They really didn't. And the Leicester players are going over, of course, to the travelling Blue Army, who they may have seen 9 a few years ago. They've seen 4 tonight. They've been royally entertained.
Yeah, they've enjoyed the trips down to the South Coast, especially to Southampton, and it's fantastic, especially to see the pictures at the end. All the home fans are gone, but the Leicester fans are still there cheering, and it makes the trip worthwhile, and it's a great display, great contribution from all the players, even the players that's come on, and everyone played their part in one way or another, and some great finishes, some good spells of play. And second half in particular was much more controlled, so it was a fantastic performance and probably exactly what Enzo wanted in the end.
Matt, would you rate that as performance of the season so far?
Yeah, I think so. All said and done, there was some hairy moments. The boys have touched on it. The first half was a bit harum scarum, wasn't it? It was, it could have been any sort of score really. Neither side looking secure defensively, but yeah, it's the first time Leicester won by a sizable margin, isn't it, as well? Before it's been decent enough football. As Tag says, overall, pretty much every time they've been the better side in terms of statistically, etc., and possession, whatever way you want to look at it, but they haven't been that convincing. They've always snuck the victories. And that's why people were still sort of umming and ahhing and asking a few questions, even though they were sitting pretty top of the league, 6 out of 6, including the cups. And then it was sort of, I think people against Hull were thinking, perhaps this is more of a reality. But then tonight, they did look, despite the to-ing and throwing of the game, they did look a class above Southampton. They always looked as if they were going to be the likely winners. I know the start of the game helps them, but yeah, Jerry mentioned it there. There were lots of mistakes, lots of things that you can improve on. Maresca says that near enough every game, doesn't he? But there were lots of good bits of play as well. There was slick interchange. There was sort of potency about their attack, good movement at times. Score 4, quite conceivably, could have been 8. Much of that is down to Southampton as well, but yeah, there was a bit more for the supporters, I suppose, or anyone who's watching that, a bit more encouragement to say, yeah, listen, we can actually take teams apart, we can hurt teams, we can be a real threat, rather than just scraping over the line like they have done a few times.
Matt, it's Tags here. Do you remember me?
I do, Gerald. You're always in my thoughts.
Just talk me through some of the Southampton defending at times. It's difficult at times for myself, Wes and Dan, to see the screen or see the whole of the pitch. But at times that Southampton defence looked absolutely all over the place.
Mate, it took me about 20 odd minutes to work out what they're doing, and to be fair, I'm not sure I ever did work it out defensively. Yeah, as you say, it's easier, or it should be easier for myself to see what's occurring because you can scan the whole pitch, etc. But they were just I mentioned it in the commentary in the second half. Sometimes they were a 4 defensively, and perhaps one person sitting a little bit, trying to small bone there, trying to protect to a degree. But Leicester just cut through them in midfield. Then there's a 3, and then sometimes they were a 2. Both the fullbacks have bombed on, or one had gone into midfield and Brannan had flown forward. Sometimes it was a 1, Harwood Ellis, because Charles would go into Dewsbury-Hall. Harwood Ellis is 1v1 with Jamie Vardy. Jamie Vardy thinking thank you very much, and it was so open. The amount of times, I don't know if you thought the same, but the amount of times Leicester were able to find Vardy or playing to the front player, Dewsbury-Hall sometimes, and then just work off that. It didn't always come off, but it was like no other game that they would have come up against, really. And so, I can't really describe what Southampton were trying to do. I don't know. Possibly an element in the first half. I said about they're trying to sort of force a man-to-man situation. I don't know if you saw that or thought the same. Similar to Huddersfield did and Hull did to a degree. Bit of a gamble, but there's got to be a little bit of a structure to it. Hull did it with a structure and a tenacity, sort of, a mentality to work hard. Southampton were just at 6s and 7s, and I've never really seen a team defend, well, that's not the right term, or defend as poorly as that. I mean, the 4th goal just epitomised it, didn't it? How it was. Sorry, no, the break on when Mavididi should have scored the previous time. I mean, no defender from 70 yards out to their goal, and it was unbelievable. And the manager's got some questions to answer, quite frankly.
Well, we're not worried about that. We're concentrating on Leicester, of course, getting 4 goals this evening on the South Coast. As Matt said, could have been 5, 6, 7, even 8.
You said you didn't see 9 tonight, but after that first half, it could have very easily been 9.
Yeah.
Not saying Leicester would have scored them all, but yeah, listen, Leicester were quality in the second half. I thought defensively and the shoot.
And that's what they needed. I mean, they've conceded just 5 goals in their 6 games. Sometimes that's been a bit of a worry how shaky they've looked defensively. They're averaging less than a goal a game conceded now.
Yeah, I think Mai brings up a good point. The games previous has not been won by a large margin. So this evening, it's a big margin. It is great to see, and it's good to see that attacking, cutting edge. Albeit against a very poor defensive Southampton side, in my opinion. But they made the most of it. They had many chances, could have scored more, but scored 4. And I think it's a good start to the, after the international break, it's a good start to restart the season and get back into the swing of things.
Yeah, and also really good to see Jamie Vardy back scoring goals. That's a major boost for everybody.
And looking really sharp.
Look really sharp. His work rate as well off the ball, which you can never question. Obviously, people. Well, I say people question marks over. How many goals is he going to get this season? How many starts is he going to get? But I say a great piece of composure in a melee box, let's call it, and no better man to step up and slot that one home. So that's a great little confidence boost for him.
Let's talk Stephy Mavididi. Man of the match performance tonight. I believe he was given that by the broadcasters as well as Matt Elliott. He looked good, didn't he? Golden assist. Could have had another of either of those had he maybe squared to Jamie Vardy or scored it himself at one point when he had the chance to wrong goal. But he looked sharp, didn't he, tonight?
Yeah, I think Balls will definitely have a private word with him about when he's through on goal and he's took the chance, but sort of squared it. But I think that shows how eager he is. He wants to get his numbers up. He wants to get the assists, gets the goals, and even the goal he scored at the end. Fantastic goal, ran the whole length of the pitch practically, and he had options to square it again, but he decided to take it on himself, and thankfully he scored that one. But no, good all-round performance. Some great moments from him in the game. Individual brilliance. Got assists, got a goal, and come away with the man of the match. So fantastic to see.
Yeah, I think at times the one where he probably should have squared it, the Vardy. You could see that Jamie wasn't best pleased, shall we say, after he didn't. But he showed that drive and determination to put that right with the goal that he scored. You know,
Could easily have squared that one.
It could easily have scored. I think it was Keenan Dewsbury-Hall. He was absolutely busting a gut to get up and play, which is no easy task because Mavididi can shift, by the way. But as I say, that selfishness that you need as an attacking player sometimes, he showed that in abundance and he made up for that mistake. So that's a big tick in the box. Now, he has to learn, but he's a young player, and he has to learn when is the right time to do that and when is the right time to score the ball to one of your teammates for a tap-in finish. But hopefully he'll get the balance right.
I mean, he was very involved, Matt, as well in the first goal, wasn't he? Pulling it back and it took a little deflection, landed at the feet of Jamie Vardy. You could almost argue it's a goal and 2 assists, really. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, he was. I was sort of having a look round, thinking, who's made the difference as such, and collectively Leicester had the upper hand. I thought, generally they had the better quality individuals, more of a unit than Southampton, which wasn't saying much, to be honest. But yeah, Mavididi, particularly in the first half. Now, to be fair, in the second as well, he was a threat, wasn't he, as well? And he looked more at it today. Like Tag's talking there about his pace, and he looked powerful tonight as well to go alongside that. Sometimes I see him, he looks like he's just sort of cruising and coasting a little bit, even bordering on disinterested. Perhaps that's being a little bit harsh, but certainly he's got some ability in him, hasn't he? In many aspects, and he's got a trick or 3 as well, and at times he can finish as well. So just when he brings it all together, he's a real proposition. Again, at this level, without a doubt, and it's just sometimes you get that fire in his belly week in, week out, then you've got a real handful.
I think tonight both sides, the left and the right side of the attacking threat at Leicester. Obviously Mavididi scores, Casey McAteer scores, does some really good work. But overall, you'd have to say that Mavididi was, along with Dewsbury-Hall, and especially in that first half, they were at the centre of everything that was good. They caused some real problems down Southampton's right-hand side. And, he capped off, that man of the match performance with a really well-taken goal, so you've got to give him a lot of credit for that. And again, that'll give him a massive boost of confidence. It must be quite difficult as a player because you have so much time to think about it when you threw on goal like that. You probably didn't find yourself in that position very many times, neither of you. But he had an awful lot of time, and he's thinking, do I pass? I've just had this chance a few minutes earlier, and he was really composed, wasn't he?
Yeah, like you said, probably not best suited to comment on it, but
I'm not sure who to go to out to you for that one.
Well, back in 1979.
But it was, he's run the whole length of the pitch, and sometimes you can have too much time to think about it. He's probably a little bit tired coming to the goal as well because it's a long old sprint. But once you get there, you have to take that deep breath and then compose yourself, and that's what they get paid to do. To get in them positions and finish the opportunity when it comes there, and he did exactly that.
Keenan Dewsbury-Hall in the midfield again. Matt showed his class this evening, didn't he? Very quickly, obviously that pass in particular for the Casey McAteer goal was just lovely. Yeah, I was just going to sort of re-endorse what Tags was saying there about Dewsbury-Hall previously, but now you mentioned it, yeah. He was a huge influence out there. I mean, his engine is exceptional. He just keeps motoring, doesn't he? He keeps striding and striving forward. So hard to play against. As an opposition midfielder, here we go again. I've got to track him back, and half the time they don't match him. And Leicester look for that. He runs off the back of players, and something that he's added to his game under Maresca. And it's become more and more a prominent feature, and to be fair, Leicester utilise and pick him out pretty regularly as well. And I think if Keenan took like tonight, I mean, listen, he was a massive influence in the key moments, but he could have had even more impact there, because he'd have a couple of situations, the one when
it broke down. When Southampton were trying to play from a goal kick pretty much, weren't they? And he cut it out in the opposition penalty area, and didn't pass the Vardy or didn't get the shot off like he might have done. And there was another scenario after he made that excellent pass for McAteer. So it was a huge influence, but if he could just refine it, tighten it up a little bit more, it'd have even more of an impact. It'd be a huge player in this division. But yeah, again, we've seen Kinnan perform at a very high level consistently over a relatively decent period of time in the Premier League. He knows he can perform in this league. He's done it before. The confidence is there. He's maturing all the time, and his game awareness is also maturing, developing. And if he can just tighten things up at key moments, it sounds like being a bit. I'm looking for the perfect performance almost, but. James, people think he's sort of taking over the mantle of James Maddison. He's not there yet in that sense, but he's got other attributes, athletic, endurance attributes that James Maddison didn't have, so he can play as equally a vital role.
Still to come here on Matchday Live on Fox's Hub. We'll hopefully get some reaction from St Mary's. We'll also talk about Wilfred Ndidi's role this evening, as well as previewing the game with Norwich on Wednesday.
Who wants to join me? Shopping at King Power. 3-day, 2-night stay booked. See ya.
To the rooftop bar.
To snap a photo for my IG.
To eat the famous pad thai.
The new collection is calling me.
Sure, there's a perfume I want. Let me ask my sis.
Yes, of course I'm going.
Leicester City, Fox never quit.
Let's go. It's possible because King Power is more than just duty-free. Shop latest trends in beauty and gadgets. Your coolest staycation. The legendary pad thai. Best street food in town. A place to support your team. A fancy dinner. Enjoy shopping at downtown stores and online. Or even the thrill of a new experience. Explore your everyday possibilities. The power of possibilities. King Power.
The new season's nearly here and the opinions are getting stronger.
We've got serious pulling power now.
What? To get the top 2 players now?
Aye?
It's like I've been saying, if he settles the squad, we'll be back on top.
Only this time we're going for the quadruple.
You are joking, aren't you?
The time for talk is nearly over.
With over £4 million in free bet giveaways and huge price boosts, kick off your season with Sky Bet. That's betting better.
You're built different. Breathing new life into broken. Taking matters into your own hands. Assembling big dreams from the small things. Never stopping until you find right part at the right price. That's the eBay way.
Hello, football fans. This is a smart meter display. It helps you tackle energy usage, manage your spending, and keep you on target. Now that's a hat trick. Search Get a Smart Meter today.
The new season's nearly here and the opinions are getting stronger.
We've got serious pulling power now.
What? To get the top 2 players now?
Aye?
It's like I've been saying. If he settles the squad, we'll be back on top.
Only this time we're going for the quadruple.
You are joking, aren't you?
The time for talk is nearly over.
With over £4 million in free bet giveaways and huge price boosts, kick off your season with Sky Bet. That's betting better.
Welcome back to Matchday Live here on Fox's Hub after Leicester City's 4-1 victory down on the South Coast against Southampton at St Mary's. And I'm pleased to say that joining us live right now on Matchday Live is the goal scorer of the first goal, Jamie Vardy. Now, we'll come to that in just a moment, in fact, actually, when we get it. Well, we'll hear from him shortly, but again, we've touched upon it slightly, Wes. He was so good, wasn't he, coming in?
To see him great. You know, it's good to see him come back in, and you know what he brings to the team. You know, it's hard to say. You know, he's not finished, but he's still such a big player in the team. He might not be playing all the time, and he's coming to the end of his career. You know, because of his age and where he's at. But what he can bring and what he does for the team is still fantastic. And he looked very sharp tonight. He looked very sharp. He looked like he got his goal, and you can see how delighted he was about that. But what he produces for the team and what he gets out of the plays, you know, is very understated.
Yeah, and as well as that, you know, his influence in the dressing room is massive. You know, he's a captain now. There's a lot of young players have come into the squad. They'll be looking up to someone like Jamie Vardy. Everyone will have heard of Jamie Vardy before they came into this football club. And so he's got a massive role to play to try and help these young kids that have just joined the club and are trying to make their way at this level. But, you know, you write Jamie Vardy off at your peril. You know, he is sharp, he's fit, he scored his first league goal this evening, which is massive for him and everybody at the football club. And okay, you know, he's at the wrong end of his career, but you wouldn't have known that this evening with the work rate that he's put in.
Wilfred Ndidi, Matt, scored a goal that Jamie Vardy would have been proud of, didn't he? And how important was that at the time that it came, literally right on the stroke of half-time?
Right. Never mind Jamie Vardy, anyone would have been proud of that goal, wouldn't they? But yeah, Vardy included. I know, he continues to astound you, doesn't he? A little bit, Wilfred, really. You know, I mean, he's becoming prolific this season. He scored a couple of goals in the Carabao Cup, hasn't he? Both, well, one dubious, but one excellent finish against Burton. Very un-Wilfred-like. And then again tonight, he goes and tops the lot, doesn't he? He had a couple of attempts in that first half. One that was well saved by the keeper from distance. Another one that was blocked, I think. And then he finds himself in a most unexpected area of the field, and in particular of the penalty box. You know, so that run from right to left, that's something that you don't regularly associate with Ndidi's game. But God, it was wonderful, wasn't it? You know, nimble-footed, balletic almost. Yeah, and he tucked it away nicely. You know, didn't sort of get carried away by the initial wonderful bit of skill and then think, oh, this job's done, here we go, I'm going to blast it in top corner. You know, it took a little bit of time and precision with the finish as well. Yeah, okay, it took a little touch off the keeper, but he nipped it away, dinked it away really neatly, isn't he? And too quite funny, you wouldn't have seen it, I
tell you what, Matt, I'll get that in just a moment. I'm going to interrupt you though, because we are going to go live now to manager Enzo Maresca speaking after tonight's 4-1 victory.
What's your assessment of that 90 minutes?
Happy, as you said, happy first of all for the final score, final results, that has been important, but especially the way we performed. The performance was very good. On the ball we were good, off the ball we were unbelievable, very aggressive, and yeah, happy.
2 weeks without a game, to score within 21 seconds, that was the perfect start, wasn't it?
Absolutely, yeah, perfect start. But apart the goal, I think since the game start, we showed that we came here to be an aggressive team, off the ball and on the ball, to play in the way we want to play.
How impressed were you with not just the goals, but the quality of the goals, the moves, and then the finishes?
Very happy, to be honest. But I said also before the game, I'm very happy since day one, because the players they are making a big effort to understand how we want to play, and every game they try, and we are improving game after game.
How impressed have you been with Casey McAteer? Another goal for him, such a young player coming into the team and impressing.
Yeah, impressive, very impressive for him. Very happy for him, but very happy for JJ also, that he show how professional has been since day one, working hard. And as I said, all of them, because the season is very long, all of them they're gonna have a chance because they work very good.
5 wins from 6 league games to start the season with this new style of football. How impressed are you with that?
Yeah, to be honest, I was happy even after, anyway, the results is important. We lost against Hull, but for me the performance was good. I know that probably outside we used to judge the result, but inside sometimes we need to make some different analysis. Even with the defeat against Hull, I was happy, and yeah, we won 5 or 6. It's important.
Conor Coady didn't get on tonight, but you spoke about how good it will be to have him back in the squad. Again, he was here this evening. That must be another positive.
Yeah, it's close to be back. It's close to be back. It's around the players. It's around the squad. He was on the bench tonight, and he will be one of the players that very soon we want to use him for sure.
And of course, games come thick and fast in the Championship. Norwich away on Wednesday, so I'm guessing pretty soon it will be all eyes on Carrow Road.
Yeah, no, as you said, now we have a game on Wednesday, but then we have a game again. So yeah, now it's until probably October. We're gonna play every 3 games. So yeah.
Well done, Enzo. Cheers. Thank you. Cheers.
Manager Enzo Maresca speaking after the victory this evening. What are your impressions of Enzo? Clearly he's made a brilliant start and a great impression with all of the lads.
Yeah, great start like you mentioned. We're fortunate to speak to him on a couple of occasions now, and the vibe he gives off and the way he talks about the team and his ideas, really impressed me, and my concern is, will what he wants to implement onto the players reflect on the performances and the results, and so far it has, so I'm so glad it's going well so far, and as to continue. He keeps alluding to so many games, he's going to need all the players, there's a game twice a week until into October now, so he's aware of what the demands are of the league, and he's mentioning the likes of JJ coming in, Conor Coady in and around the squad now, and
it's got a great squad, Leicester.
Well, yeah, everyone's starting to come back fit, everyone's starting to contribute, and you'll see a lot more rotation in the team to keep players fresh, and it's good that players are starting to get a feel, get a bit of game time, because they're going to be needed, and they've got to be comfortable in how the team's playing and what the manager wants from them.
He had a bit of a chuckle, didn't he, Jerry, about the fact that the game at Carrow Road is just a few days away, and as Wes rightly says, it's basically 2 a week now for the next few months. So it's another big game actually on Wednesday at Carrow Road against a side that are free scoring.
Yeah, I think they've sort of got themselves into the rhythm with the Carabao Cup games, and now it's coming in the league where it's a Saturday, Tuesday, or next week, Wednesday. But I also think, he talks about hard work and being professional, not playing JJ. But on the other side of that, most of these players will never get a better opportunity to play in a team and play a style of football that, every player on the planet wants to play. I've probably mentioned this before, but if you're not coming into work every day, beaming, smiling, and I know that for the likes of James Justin, this is his first league start, but as I say, every player in that squad, when they get a chance to play, they're playing well, they're winning games, 5 out of 6 in the league, 2 Carabao Cup games they've won. the dressing room must be absolutely buzzing. So, and when it's like that, the hard work just follows naturally. You don't have to convince players that you need to work hard because you get the rewards for that. The style of play, the way the lads are playing, it's a whole different ball game for them individually, and they must be loving it.
Yeah, that hard work follows not just on the pitch but off it as well. We've got plenty more coming your way, and there's plenty to get your teeth into actually on Fox's Hub. Certainly over the coming days, there's plenty of features there for you as well. We've got extra time on Monday evening to assess this victory. Half an hour wasn't enough time to talk about it this evening, so we've got an hour to do so on Monday. Then again, it's another game. Wednesday evening, of course, at Carrow Road against Norwich. That is another 8 o'clock kickoff, so you can join us from 7. And there's a brand new podcast available with Martin O'Neill in conversation with both Jerry and Matt. So that was a really fascinating couple of hours. So do give that a watch either on YouTube or listen to it wherever you get your podcasts, of course. Big thank you to Wes Morgan for coming, and hopefully the first of many appearances for you on Matchday Live this season. Thanks as ever to Jerry and to Matt. Well done for that trip down to the South Coast. You were rewarded with 3 goals, safe travels home, and it's been another brilliant evening for the Foxes at the start of this new season. 5 wins out of 6, 3 points and 4 goals on the South Coast this evening. Good night.